Hey, girl bosses, and welcome to another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. This is your girl, Nicole Doss, the CEO and founder of the Prestige Society, a membership organization for women entrepreneurs who believe in building powerful networks while slaying in their industries. How are you bosses doing on this wonderful day? Today's episode is all about girl boss whiplash. That's right. You know that feeling that you get when you look to the left or to the right of you, and you get thrusted into feelings of envy, jealousy, all wondering why in the world do you not have the same level of success as the girl boss to the left or the girl boss to the right of you. We're going to talk about what that does to you as far as a girl boss, how it is not beneficial at all to your business, and how do you actually get up out of that feeling of having envy or jealousy for those who are around you. So before we get into it, of course, I want to give you guys some updates on things that are going on with your girl. So the first thing is that I am super excited for our workbooks and journals and planners. Oh my, that workshop is actually taking place December 10th through the 12th. The reason why I'm super excited about this is because I know many times as a girl boss, you may sit and look at your timeline and see a girl boss actually produce something or have access to something. And you're like, man, like, how did they create that for their brand? And you don't want to ask them in the DMs because you know, like, that's their secret sauce and they may not want to share that with you. And you're just still sitting there and you're trying to figure out all on your own and you just wish you had some insight. Not to necessarily replicate what they're doing, but to be able to have insight of how you could leverage some of the tools or some of the things they're using for their brand. I'll give you an example. So for me, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my faves, which is the Hustle Mom. So if you guys do not follow the Hustle Mom or the Hustle Mom shop, please feel free to go there. What Alicia does is she actually provides mentorship for young girls as well as for moms who are just stressed out and just need to have some kind of mentor to help them through the everyday hustle and bustle of being a mom. And let me tell you something, it is more necessary for this with the fact that now we have to work our businesses. Some of us work our jobs as well, and then be a teacher, lunch lady, principal, and disciplinarian, all while trying to be productive in our own lives. And so that could be very, very frustrating and very, very hard. So having a mentor to help you would be great. Now, the Hustle Mom has a hustle shop. And so the Hustle Mom shop has awesome things. So I remember when Alicia had just introduced the Hustle Mom duffel. And so it had Hustle Mom in these gold letters that were amazing. And I was like, oh, how awesome would that be? And I had 10,642 questions. Like, did you have to buy these in bulk? Is this a print demand and a drop ship kind of option? If you did use that, then who did you go through? Because this bag looks amazing. And so I didn't ask, but I had like 10,000 questions, and I know Alicia would have definitely shared gems with me because that's what you do when you have a boss network. But I did not ask her. And I know you guys are going through this same exact thing when it comes to things like creating journals and planners and workbooks. And I want to share those gems with you. One of the reasons why I think this is really important to have this class, especially for these service-based businesses, is because when you look at service-based businesses, some people may not want to retain your services. It could be something as simple as they don't have the time to like work with someone who's going to provide these services. They'd much rather kind of do it on their own. Some people don't like to be bothered with like the personal interaction. Believe it or not, there are some introverts who feel like that and would rather have the tools so they can kind of sit in their own space and kind of work on their own thing through the tool that you're providing. And so when that's the case, what you're able to do as a service-based business is then extend your reach through having some kind of product line. So that could be anything from having apparel, like a merchandise line where you have branded apparel where people love the brand, so they want to wear the actual apparel. So being able to then let people wear your merch is really important. But also there is like this really awesome gem of creating workbooks and planners and journals for your tribe as well. This is great. And I'm going to give you some examples for people like if you are a event planner. The first thing brides do is do what? They order a bridal planner. So if you are in an area where someone would love, they love your brand, but they can't necessarily get to you or have you provide the services, maybe they can't even afford your services, but they can afford your planner. And maybe they're doing something small because, hey, that's what the pandemic is doing to folks. Then, this is an opportunity for this bride to now be a DIY. If you've noticed a decline in people retaining your services because of the pandemic, then you can notice then an incline in things like offering these kind of products. So think about that if you're an event planner, if you are a nutrition coach, or if you were a physical trainer and it's getting cold and so working out outside isn't necessarily ideal. You can now create a fitness and a meal tracker for your clients. So now maybe they're working with you virtually, but then having this tangible workbook will then help them in being able to now feel like they're getting some kind of additional love from you, opposed to just, maybe having just a virtual space. So there's so many different coaches, therapists, just faith-based companies. There's just so many different ways that you would be able to create things like a workbook or a planner or a journal to help people. And what we'll do in this workshop is talk about how do we really focus on, one, how do you do the aesthetic? How do you create a workbook? How do you create a journal or a planner using Canva? And then also we'll talk about then self-publishing as an option. And then we will explore the difference between using third-party sellers that give you a commission versus you using drop shipping or print on demand, where you're able to actually make more of a return on investment. One of the examples I'll give, if you decide to use a paperback and you want to go with the publisher like KDP, for you to literally publish your workbook or your journal as a paperback through KDP, depending on how big your body of work is, let's say it's 150 pages, you literally will only pay $2.13 for that printing. And it could be a workbook that you would then sell for about $20. So literally you would see your return on investment would be more than if you, let's say, use maybe Amazon or Barnes & Nobles, where your commission would probably be about $3 per book that you sell. So you figure, do you want to make $180 or do you want to make, let's say, $30 if you sold, 10 books or 10 workbooks or 10 planners, right? So definitely think about, we'll talk about those different things to think about when it comes to sales and marketing, as well as the opportunity of like, what does it take to really design this? And the goal is to give you the exact same steps that I've used in creating all 5 of my planners, and also giving you a quick lesson on design. And that's why we had to make it 3 days. So on the 10th, it's from 7 to 9 p.m. On the 11th, it's 7 through 9 p.m. And then because the 12th is a Saturday, that's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So you get 3 days or 3 sessions that we get to really focus on this task of building your awesome, your just little awesome body of art that's published, that's branded. So I am super excited for that. I will add the link to the workshop to that. And then also on the flip side, thinking about how to connect more with audience. Guys, listen, I know you guys are out there because I see all of the demographics and all of the reporting that we get through Spreaker, but I don't know you guys are like out there. So I would love it if you guys would come join our Facebook group. I know I haven't been as active as I should be, so I definitely want to get back into motion, where on Monday we drop a new episode. Wednesday we do a luncheon chat where we talk about the episode from different perspectives, and then also get you guys to do a Freestyle Friday where I share with you my favorite documentary for the week, because I'm always watching documentary, and kind of hear from you guys more and more and really get to interact with the tribe. And I'm also playing around with whether or not I want to do an IG page. So if that's something you guys think will be a little fun, then let's do it. So go to on IG, on Instagram, at the official Nicole Doss, and let me know what you're thinking. Drop me a message, do something so that I can know you're out there, and let me know what you would rather. Like, let's get more active on the Facebook group, or should we go ahead and open up this space on Instagram? I will go where my tribe leads me. So I look for you guys to really tell me where you want to be, because honestly, I really want to connect with you guys, because I appreciate all of you who listen to this podcast. Sometimes when you're recording, you feel like you're just talking to yourself. So you help me feel like that's not the case. So let's go ahead and get connected. Let's move on, ladies. Talk about Girlboss Whiplash. So once again, I'm going to define what Girlboss Whiplash is. And that is when you look to the right and the left of you. And looking to the right and the left of you could really easily be something as simple as, I don't know, you really, looking through your timeline. It could be you getting news from someone in your boss network. It could be you looking through stories on Instagram or, TikTok, seeing what someone's doing. For me, it never fails. My mother's always telling me about what awesome things her friends' daughters are doing who are also entrepreneurs. So, not looking literally to the left and the right of you, but whenever you are out and about minding your own girl boss business, there is something that may come across you, whether it's a text message or looking on social media, that gives you wonderful news about what our sisters in business are doing. Okay. And in that, there is some great news about their business, and it may look a little similar to what it is that you're doing. And if you, for 2.3 seconds, feel a twinge of, oh man, like, why can't I have this level of success? Why can't I sell X, Y, and Z? Why can't I get access to this publicist? Why can't I be on this show or be in this article? Whatever the case may be, I'm trying to think of all the possible things that could possibly come across your mind. I want you to, especially if you're being thrusted in that moment into some kind of feeling. One, I want you to know that that's human nature and it's completely natural, but I also want you to realize that I'm going to need you to snap out of it ASAP, okay? So let's talk about why you need, there's a few reasons, but we'll talk about those few reasons of why you need to jump out of that quickly. And that's what I like to call your rebound time, right? So your rebound time is very important. The longer you stay in the woe is me, the longer you are not being a service to your business nor your tribe. I'll repeat that for you. The longer you stay in woe is me mode, which is pity party for one mode, the longer you are not being a service. So what does that mean? That means you are actually being a disservice to your tribe and your business. So your rebound time is absolutely important. And so I'm going to help you reduce your rebound time by following these few steps. So I need you to understand that, you need to get up out of there because you're not making money. You can't be productive. You can't be creative if you're feeling like, oh, I suck, right? Because there's nothing positive flowing through your body that's allowing for you to be able to be those things. When I used to do coaching through IPEC, they used to call it anabolic versus catabolic energy. And so catabolic basically was that negative energy that would force you to play victim or feel bad about yourself or, like all these things that basically made you feel like you were crap. And those were the things that did not allow you to be positive in your life, did not allow you to move forward with productivity because you just literally could not because you were focused on this very negative energy. So these are things that are keeping you from moving forward. So that's why you need to step up your rebound time. All right. The next thing of why it's important for you to snap out of it. So one, you're not doing your business any service or your tribe any service. But the second thing is that it's taking away the accountability that there is something that you're just not doing. Ooh, y'all didn't like that, did you? Don't feel bad. I don't like hearing my own advice either. Right? Because I too have gone through these things. But this is why I'm having this conversation with you, because there's no way I would ever sit up high and look down low and tell you these things. I am telling you these things because your girl has been through this too. And these are things that I had to exercise to get me up out of my girl boss whiplash, right? So once again, that second thing that you need to realize is that when you are in that space of woe is me, or I suck, or why is somebody else doing this, and why are they special? Why can they do that? It literally takes away the accountability for yourself in realizing that there is something that you just are not doing. Okay? So let's say you see someone and they are, let's say they're a keynote speaker or a guest panelist for a virtual summit. And you're like, man, how come they're this and you're not? Oh, no. We're not going to do that, because guess what? You don't know what's happening in the background for that person. You don't know that person has a publicist that she works really hard for, meaning publicists don't come cheap. My publicist was $1,500 a month. So if you have a publicist and you're paying, and this person's paying this publicist, and that publicist is getting them this spot on these panels or speaking as a keynote or getting them spots on a TV show or a radio show, then you got to respect the fact that she's working really hard to pay for someone to be part of a team to help her expand her brand. So that has nothing to do with, oh man, why does she get it? Don't worry about why does she get it. What are you doing to get you that access? Let's say homegirl doesn't have a publicist, but she's in DMs and making connections and reaching out to people so that they can see her brand and saying, hey, I'd love to speak at your event. Hey, I'd love to do this. And you're not doing that, because when you look through the feed, you just see that the person's on a flyer. So you're just assuming that, that person just miraculously got tapped. No, there's work in the background that's being done. So instead of looking externally at the girl boss, who we should be celebrating, right? Being happy for that person for getting those great opportunities that they're having, you got to look at yourself. So boo, what have you been doing? Who have you been reaching out to? Do you have a one sheet? Do you know what a one sheet is? Have you been sending your one sheet out to people? What have you been doing? And if the answer is to all those things, no, and no, then it has nothing to do with this girl boss and everything to do with you. Everything to do with what you haven't been doing. Everything to do with the fact that you haven't been focusing on certain areas that would give you access into the rooms that person has access to. All right. And then last but not least, let's just talk about favor. And you know what they say, favor ain't fair. So maybe this person has favor that you don't have. You can't do anything about that. That is up to God and God alone. So what do we do when it comes time to focusing on how we stop with the whiplash, right? If we know that that we have to get this rebound time together because we're not being productive, right? In this, man, why is this person doing this and I'm not doing it? Or I'm not great, or I'm not being seen, right? If we focus on that space, what ends up happening is, once again, you're not doing the work you're supposed to be doing. So we already know that. And then we also know that when we spend that time focusing on what was me, we're not holding ourselves accountable. So what do we need to do to course correct? So the first thing I want you to do is get laser focus within your lane. So what do I mean by that? Trey Kearney, relationship coach extraordinaire. I used to love when she used to tell people all the time, girl, get in your lane, stay in your lane. This is your lane. Yeah, all the time. And because she is literally like, she's just like straight, no chaser. Like, this is just exactly what it is. And if you like it, great. If you don't, well, I can't help you because this is just the truth. It sounds harsh, but when you really take into consideration what she's saying, it ain't nothing but facts, okay? And what Trey is really trying to convey in that, in saying that you must stay in your lane, is that there's work for you to do. There is a purpose that has been given to you and you alone. There is a path and a journey that is unique to you based on your experiences, what God has predestined for you. Like, there's a journey and experiences and a life that you're supposed to experience that is unique to you. And so replicating somebody else's formula isn't really going to work for you because of the fact that you got to realize that you have to be on your journey. So getting this laser focus really helps you to put on blinders in certain seasons of your life and in your business that won't let you look to the right or the left of you, causing this girl boss whiplash. Like, it's almost like looking on, the other side. They always say the grass is greener on the other side. So you're seeing someone's highlight reel saying, oh man, just if I could. No, boo, you don't know what that person's going through. Through all the smiles and everything else, you do not know what that person is experiencing with their business. So you have to turn your focus back onto your lane, and you need to put up some blinders and get laser focus on what is it that you're supposed to be doing. Because if you fix that focus, I guarantee you will start to see all of the things that you should be doing that you aren't doing. And then the second piece of it is get to work. Get to work. You literally right now can identify 3 things, minimum, 3 things that you should be doing with your business that you just aren't. So if you can't, let me give you some examples. I'm just going to ask these in a form of a question, and then all you have to do as you're listening is just answer yes or no. Are you sending out a weekly email to your tribe on updates with what's going on with your business? Are you creating a sales funnel that would provide a freebie that would then lead to an actual sales opportunity so that you can expand your brand to new business? Are you creating stories on a daily basis that lets your tribe into your brand and into you as the CEO? Are you reaching out to other brands that you can collaborate with so that you have the opportunity to also expand your brand? Are you thinking about what's happening in the industry that you are in and what the current gaps are and how you can fill that gap through the innovation of your brand? Do I have to keep going? Like, literally, I could keep going. But, are you posting 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times a week on this one thing that you're trying to sell? Like, literally, I could go on and on and on and on. And the reality is that all of us knows this intellectually, right? We all know the things that we're supposed to do. But it's so much easier for us from a human nature standpoint to just go back into our bag. Like, just to go back into our feelings and be like, no, that's not it. The real thing is that they're just better and I just suck. Because self-pity and being all upset feels so comfortable, like a soft, warm security blanket. And doing the work so hard. Because how can I find the time to be anything and everything with my business and my home and as a mom or as a caretaker? It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's so much easier for us to just look externally and just say, no, I'm not the problem. The problem is something in this game is unfair. Something in this industry is afoot. It's a mist, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So, and it's so much easier for us to kind of stay in that space instead of just doing the work. Listen, ladies, this is a time where your people need you more than ever. Whether we look at the fact that COVID numbers are going up, more and more people are getting COVID. More and more people are being exposed to COVID. More and more people have to be back on lockdown. And honestly, I will say this much too. Some states have a very different experience with COVID and the pandemic than others. I literally saw on someone's story, they went to Atlanta, and I'm going to tell you, like, masks who? Like, there were not masks. They were not masks. They were partying without masks. It was it just looked like Corona was just jumping from person to person. It was crazy. So I will say that, when you look at you look at that, that's not really the experience we're having in Jersey or in Pennsylvania. So, for my listeners who are in Atlanta, no shade. I'm just saying y'all are having a very different experience when it comes to the pandemic than I would say we are. Like, no clubs are open in Philly. And if they are, they're like little bars and they had to cut their capacity and folks are wearing masks. Like, it's a very different experience. And then for me personally, like, I don't want to go nowhere at all. But yet somehow my college kid done brought COVID into this whole house. So we just on lockdown. We just on a whole, just here for 14 days. And guess what that means? That means that everyone in this house just started deciding that they're just working on more and more content because we can't go nowhere. You have a tribe of people that are dealing with their current state very differently than they did in 2019, and even very different than they did in the very beginning of 2020. The reality is that there's work that you need to do, and you have to figure out how you're going to work your business, and you have to be diligent about it. The holidays are coming up. If you want to take a break, fine. If you don't want to do anything until January, great. But you're also missing out on very great opportunities to create maybe, some excitement around the fact that it's Black Friday coming up, that there's Christmas coming up. And so I really want you to think about what are some things that you can do instead of looking to the right and the left of you and being thrusted into this girl boss whiplash where you're wondering why everyone else is getting paid or why everyone else is having these opportunities and you aren't. The reality is you aren't focusing on the right things. You aren't looking at what's your journey and what's your greatness about. You're not focusing on, am I doing the work required? Because I'm going to tell you, you're probably not. And guess what? You got to get out your bag. Last Thursday, we at the Prestige Society had a members only event called the C-Suite. And in the C-Suite, we had the opportunity to network, talk, catch up, laugh. We all had our spirits, or, I had some organic wine since that's all I can drink with this new allergy to alcohol I have since I've turned 40. And we all had a really great time. But we did this exercise called Vent and Answer. And in that vent and answer, you got to complain about a frustration about your business, and then you had the opportunity to have your sisters give you recommendations about how to overcome those frustrations. And it's literally this. This literally gave me the idea for this podcast episode, because it's literally like, when you look to the right and left of you, you're so frustrated by all that's going on around you that you're whiplashed into this feeling or this emotion of frustration. Even some of us were like hurt. People were crying. Like it was a lot of emotion. But when we got done venting about it, when we received all of these different variations of ways to overcome the challenges that we were experiencing, we had to tell each other one thing as a group. So if it was my turn or if it was anybody else's turn, we had to say their name. So just imagine you're saying my name, Nicole, and then we all had to say, Nicole, get out of your bag. And that's what you have to do, ladies. When you feel that you are in this space of, feeling frustrated with your business or feeling like other people are experiencing different levels of whatever with their business, you got to get out your bag. There is nothing in your bag other than a pity party for one. Now, I will say that if you got to go through your roller coaster of emotions, feel it for a minute. Be like, I'm so mad. For a minute. Get in there and get out, because there's nothing that is going to help you there. It's just not. So get in there. Remember what you got to do. You got to decrease that rebound time. Rebound time might have been a whole day or 2 weeks or a month. You'll be shocked how some people become so defunct with their business that they literally shut down because they don't know how to come out of their pity party. You got to decrease that rebound time, right? So make it quick, get in, get out, and then focus, laser focus. And if you don't know, like when we talk about laser focus on your purpose and in your lane and what you're supposed to do, don't make that a conversation that you're just having with yourself. I truly believe that if you have a purpose-driven business, then you need to spend some time with God and saying, God, use me to bless people. What of my talents that you have given me can I do? To give glory to you while I'm here on this earth. What is it that I can do? Spend some time having that conversation. Listen, for me, I always say, I don't know who your higher power is. For me, it's God, Alpha and the Omega. If for you, it's the trees or the leaves, I don't know. People say their ancestors. Listen, God created your ancestors. I don't care. Whoever it is that you have conversations with, that is what you need to do to meditate in prayer, to really figure out what it is that you are going to do to get back into your lane. Because it is absolutely imperative for you to be able to say, okay, if I'm really frustrated with where my business is, then I need to start at home. I need to go back to headquarters. Headquarters is going to be you, yourself, your heart, who you are, your soul. I got to get back to headquarters, and I need to see what's not happening back home. What's not happening in at headquarters, which is you. And if it's that you're not doing these different things, and maybe it's something as simple as, I don't know how to manage my time. Maybe it's something as simple as, I really don't know how to get to that next level. I don't know what to do next. Then that's where you should be led to get help, to help you in those areas, because that means that there's work you're not doing. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It is just work that you're not doing. All right? All right, guys. Well, I hear that my daughter's class is over, which probably means that there's some activity that I need to help her with. So I want to make sure that I jump to it. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, awesome, and most of all, blessed day. Bye.